and kind of giving these big introductions and big talks. And I'm not going to do that today because obviously all of you have already heard those talks if you're one of the students here. But just to catch the parents up on a little bit about me and who I am. And I'll talk briefly about one of the surprises for me as an author. So first, I'm not just an author, I'm also a dad. These are my 3 kiddos. Yeah, they're cute, they're wonderful. I got to tell stories about each one of them. The only one I'll kind of highlight to those of you who didn't get to meet them during the school visits is that for those of you who are wanting my middle child, you're like, oh, that kid looks like a little familiar. That's because over Christmas we went viral. He opened all of the Christmas presents underneath the tree, and we got interviewed by Good Morning America and BBC. It was all over the place. It was a lot of fun. Gave me a great story to tell pretty much for the rest of my life. So that's a little bit about me and my family. And then these are my books. So these are the stories that I have out in the world. I have had 12 stories published. Number 13 comes out this fall. And then these on the bottom row, as I told your students, are kind of what my books look like in other countries when they get translated into other languages. So these books are out there in the world. If you're a student here, if you're an older student, I probably talked about this series, which is my first New York Times best-selling series. Door in the Dark hit that list last year. It popped back on the list this year. And I'll let people know that third cover there with the dragon has not been seen by anyone besides my mom and my wife. And so you get to see it for the first time. Don't tell my publisher that I showed you. But so those of you who are a little older, I talked to you about the Door in the Dark trilogy. Those of you who are younger, and probably everyone here, I talked a little bit about The Last Dragon on Mars. Which is my new series for the fall. I also kind of talked about how we're doing this really fun contest, and I know a lot of you in here in this room have already entered it, where one person is going to win the chance to be a character in that book, in that sequel. And so just, if you have questions about that, let me know at the end, because it's kind of fun. But all of that to say, the book process for me has been a lot of fun. And the one thing I kind of want to highlight tonight is something that I think will surprise some of our young authors. So all of you wrote a story, and when I was your age, I was writing, but I kind of thought writing was this thing that you do in the loneliest room of your house. You find the tallest tower, you shut yourself away, you work on your story, you write it, right? No one's allowed to see it. And then maybe one day, long after you are dead, that someone will find it and publish it. Sort of like the Vincent Van Gogh or the Emily Dickinson route, right? And so for a long time, I always thought writing was really fun. But I also thought it was going to be very lonely. I thought it was going to be something where I'd have to make friends somehow, some way, but I would do my job by myself. And to my great surprise, what I have found, and what I think you probably have already experienced a little bit in this process, is that writing is actually a big collaboration. It's something we do together. It's something we do as a team. And even if it doesn't feel like that, even when you're sitting alone at your computer, it feels like you're by yourself. I'm going to convince you tonight, writing is something we do with a bunch of other people, right? So the first thing is that you are in collaboration with the rest of the world around you. So I have up here, you probably can't see it very clearly, I showed some students this though. I keep all the story ideas for my books in the reminder section of my iPhone, right? Which is not what that's for at all. But what I do is I'm showing you, I'm going to try to show it so everyone can see, but I can scroll, and I can scroll, and I can scroll, and I can scroll. We can sit here for a couple minutes if you wanted, because every story idea that I've ever gotten is in that phone. And you are the same way. Any young author here, keep your eyes open. Keep your ears open. Story is happening everywhere. It's happening in your life. It's happening in your friends' lives. Your friends will say a random thing at lunch, and that will be the spark of a brand new story that you would have never thought of if you weren't paying attention. And my one suggestion is that when you're in collaboration with the rest of the world, when you're thinking of these new ideas, make sure you have some place to write them down. Right? And it might not be the reminder section of an iPhone, it might be a little notepad you keep in a pocket or in your book bag, but have some place to write those stories down. Just yesterday, My son, I just was reminded of it. My son's terrified of automatic toilets. I know it's really random, but he just is. He's terrified. He thinks they're scary. And I just had an idea to put that in a story, and it's in the second book of Last Dragon now. And so all those little random details that happen in your day, whether it's a friend of yours talking at lunch or a teacher telling you something, that's all fuel for what your stories would be. You're in collaboration with the rest of the world. You're also in collaboration with people who encourage you, people who stand beside you. And tonight I see a lot of people already standing beside you, which is kind of cool. So this is my teacher. Her name was Susan Labasso. Currently her name's Susan Letts. Susan Labasso, I think, still teaches in this area. She was at Panther Creek for a long time. She was at Cary High School, though, when I was there. And I don't know about you, raise your hand real quick. Any student who has had a great teacher or a great librarian in their life? Should be everyone. We've all got one, right? Just raise your hand just in case. Now, for me, I love to write, but I never shared it with anyone. Like I said, tallest tower, darkest room. I never talked about it. However, there comes a point, and your point has already happened because you shared your story, where you have to know, like, am I any good at this? Is my story any good? And so my teacher, Susan Labasso, was the kindest person I had ever met. And I was like, oh, if anyone would be nice about my story, it would be her. And so one day, with trembling hands, I took my chapter that I worked so hard on, like the story that you worked so hard on, and with shaking hands, I said, hey, Mrs. Labasso, will you read this for me? And she's like, yes, of course. And I ran away. Even though class was not over yet, I just ran away. And so the next day I came to class, and Mrs. Labasso gave a speech. She said, you have to believe in people. You have to believe the best in them. And I was like, that's cool sounding, whatever. And she pulled me aside after and said, Scott, I was talking about you. And I was like, oh, right, I was listening, that's right. And so she said, you know how you're in that Spanish 3 class that you're in? I said, yes, I need that to get into UNC. She said, well, I switched you. You're no longer in that class. You're in a creative writing class now. And I was like, wow, can you do that? She said, stop asking so many questions. And so that night, though, that day, when she did that for me, I've read my chapter since then. It wasn't like the greatest chapter you've ever read in your life, but I think she saw that I was passionate about it, that I loved it with all that I was, and she put a hand on my back and just kind of metaphorically said, hey, go love what you love without apology. And you're going to have those people, those voices that say, hey, you can do this. And my encouragement for you is that you're in collaboration with them too. Believe them. Try it out. See how far you can take it. But that was the first time someone told me I could be an author, and I'm standing here in front of you having published 12 books, way more on the way, right? That's where it started. Now, you are also in collaboration with experts. You live in a glorious age where you can Google just about anything. When I was your age, we had to go to the library, and in the library, it wasn't like we could just search things. There was like a row of encyclopedias, okay? And we had to look through, and if someone had taken the letter S before you, you just were out of luck. You couldn't look up anything with the letter S. And so I'm going to encourage you, your stories will benefit from learning new things. In your math class, in your science classes, in the library, when you research that project, you're going to learn little things that will be great for your stories. Let me give you an example. A couple slides ago, I had this Nixia Unleashed, that story that has like flames and the fire, right? Now that story is set on a planet that has 2 moons. I am no scientist, but I know 2 moons is going to change some things. And so what I did is I Googled, what if the Earth had 2 moons? And lo and behold, there's a book called What If the Earth Had 2 Moons? Isn't that great? So I looked this book up, I downloaded it on my Kindle, I read it, I learned a lot. And then I needed a little bit more information. I emailed, this is Dr. Neil Comans. I emailed him. I said, hey, Neil, buddy, old pal, I got some questions about vegetation. He's like, great, sounds, and he sent me like a thesis in return. And all of a sudden, my story had this great foundation that's built on expertise and science and knowing the right thing. And that story is so much better for it. So you are in a collaboration with everything else you learn too, with all the experts in your life. You are in collaboration with other authors you read. Who's read a good book sometime this last couple months? Anyone? Great, almost everyone. I love to see it. So, you, as you read, I'm going to challenge you, the writer, to every now and again, put your author's hat on, right? Try to find something to learn about in those stories. Because I've said this before, maybe at the Q&A section, but if you like the way that I end my chapters, you like the way that Ursula K. Le Guin ends her chapters. She's the one who taught me to do that. And if you like the way I write action scenes, I learned that from Pierce Brown and Marie Lu reading their books. And if you like the way I switch point of view characters, I learned that from Lee Bardugo reading Six of Crows. So you, the young authors in this room, as you read, pay attention. How they pull off that plot twist, how they make you love that character so much. You can take things from those stories and put them on your own tool belt to use in your own way. You're in collaboration with all the authors who came before you, right? Collaboration number 5. So this is a picture from my recent book launch, and while it's the back of their heads, there are 5 members of my writing group in this picture. These are the people who I met along the way, and twice a month for the last decade, I've sat down in coffee shops and hung out with them and talked stories, and if it was not for those people, I would not be published. Now, it's hard sometimes as a young author. Like I said, I kind of thought no one else liked to write. But as a young author, it's hard to find other people who love to write. But hey, look around. These are all the other people who love to write. Like, you got people all around you who are toying with a new story, playing with a new idea. And if you might meet one of them tonight and talk to them about what was your story, I wrote about this, you're going to find that some of the people in this room will keep writing with you and keep asking questions. And they'll be the people that sit at your book launch one day, right? When you have a new book coming out, because they were there with you all along. You're in collaboration with all the other people that are writing too. And then last but not least, I think it's pretty cool to think about, you guys have this team of people who put together this anthology, right? You submitted stories, someone made sure that all the stories were in the right place, and the same thing happens for me. So look, I have this book right here. This is the advanced reader copy for The Last Dragon on Mars. Now this book, it's not how it looks in my computer at all. It doesn't have the nice typeface. It doesn't have all the commas in here in all the right places the first time I write it. And I've told some of the students in this room this already, but by the time this reaches your hand, I would guess about 80 people have worked on it in some way, in some fashion. And so again, writing is this big collaboration. It's something you get to do with other people, something you get to do together. So I'm going to close out with this. I am going to give away this book, which is kind of fun. We're going to ask one question. It'll be a trivia question. We'll see who gets it right. But the last thing I want to say is this. You are already on your way. You are already writing stories and dreaming up new worlds and thinking of new characters. And I got to tell you, the number of people who will actually write a story is very small. You're already in this rare, low percentage of people who are brave enough to dive in and create a story and write new characters. And I am really honored that I can say I got to collaborate with you, right? I got to come into your school and meet many of you and talk with you and hear what your story was about. And I cannot tell you how excited I am to one day see your book on a shelf. One day, go to your book launch. One day, read your poem in that magazine, whatever it might be. I think it's the coolest thing in the world when someone creates a story. And I've told people this, those ideas that are on my phone, right? I've told this at a couple of the school visits I did. But the coolest thing about writing to me is that the idea that just starts in your head, you work on it, you write it, you develop it, and then that idea becomes a book, right? And you pull that off the shelf, and that idea that was only in my head is now in your head. That's magic, right? It's pretty cool. And so one of the things I'll just keep encouraging all the young authors here to do is please keep writing your stories. We need them. We want to hear your voice. We want to celebrate you. And that next idea, I can already tell you it's a good one. I'm excited to read it, right? All right, thanks for that. I'm going to give away a book real quick, and then I'll hand it back off. Sound good? Okay. So you all know this. I asked a trivia question. It's going to be a brand new trivia question, though, so former answers will not apply. You raise your hand silently. I will point. You'll guess. Whoever gets it correct wins this. This book comes out October 1st, so you get to read it about 4 months before anyone else, right? That's kind of fun. All right. My two children, they are 6 and 3. They play video games. Their favorite current video game features what famous character? It's a tough one. Their favorite current video game features what famous character? When I say famous, he's a very famous, well-known character. I got the red shirt first.
Mario?
Mario's like a real good guess. No, we do not have, unfortunately, we don't have the Nintendo yet. We're not in that deep. We're ready. I'm ready for it, though. In the green shirt. Batman, another solid guess. Probably a little too old for them. Let's keep going. They're not in the Minecraft yet. They're not there yet. I didn't know that his name was Steve either, so I'm glad to have some pre-knowledge about Minecraft Steve. Go white. Kirby, another good guess. Not quite. I'll give a hint if we don't get it in a second. The black. Sonic the Hedgehog. Let's go! Yes. Nice guess. We love a winner. We love it. All right. Thank you so much. As I'm fond of telling, I'll close out with the same thing I closed out with every session. It was like, hey, I love that the adults are in this room. I love that you're here to support everyone. All these books up here, though, are for your kids. They're for you. You can read them. That's fine. If you like them, go for it. But I wrote them for your student that you brought here tonight. And so when they step foot in my worlds, just know that is the greatest honor and privilege of my life. It's why I do what I do. Thanks for bringing them out. Thanks for supporting their writing. I just really enjoyed chatting with all that. Thanks.
Can we please give another round of applause to He was a very honorary guest this year. He did a lot for Chatham County Schools for the Young Authors Program. As soon as I pitched the idea to him, he's like, yep, what do I have to do? Where do I have to sign? Where do I need to be? And it was just, from there, it was just perfect. So we want to recognize Mr. Rankin with a small award. A long-standing tradition for young authors is we recognize our community partners that make the program so rewarding for our students by some kind things that they do. And Mr. Rankin, like we mentioned, he has gone to all of the schools and worked with your students. And so we would like to honor him with our Community Partnership Award for May of 2024 for his participation in Young Authors.
I was literally about to say, I was going to say, look, I'm a New York Times bestselling author, but I've never gotten a trophy.
I'm still waiting on mine too. We also want to recognize Dr. Hiller Spires. She was unable to attend this evening, but she is the daughter of a Miss Margie who founded Margie's Books several years back, and they are responsible for donating some of the funds. So when your students got their letters of recognition and invitation to tonight's ceremony, they also received a little extra gift. It was either a book drawn together, which was our featured book, wordless picture book for this year, or it was a little baggie of some goodies. And Dr. Spires is responsible for the funds in order for us to provide that extra gift for your young authors. So thank you very much to Dr. Hiller Spires. We'll make sure that she gets her Community Partnership Award as well. Speaking of collaborations to make things happen, happen for our students. We also want to recognize the board members that have been able to attend tonight. A couple of them did have to step out. There is another awards ceremony going on at one of our schools, so they did have to depart. But our board chair, Mr. Gary Leonard, was here. Also our vice chair, Ms. Del Turner. And another board member, Mr. David Ham, he's seated in the back. He is still with us this evening. Thank you to our board members for being here. This year, students could choose to only publish their stories or also enter them into a competition. Out of the 426 participants, 365 entered that competition. Stories were judged on a 16-point rubric covering creativity, language conventions, authorial voice, I lost my spot, and effort. From these, 53 stories were nominated for recognition and are being awarded medals. From the 53, 14 stories, including one that was co-authored, so we are recognizing 15 young authors, were selected as exemplary and will receive trophies. The best story from each grade level was chosen from the 53 finalists. Those 9 outstanding young authors will receive plaques honoring founder Mary Lee Moore and represent their grade levels as district champions for our 33rd annual Young Authors Program. I now introduce to you Mr. Michael Charles. He is our digital learning instructional program facilitator and creative genius behind this year's program. He will announce the names of the students being recognized this evening. There will be photo opportunities at the end of each tier, so please make sure that your cameras are ready. We would also like to invite Mr. David Ham, if you would like to come up to shake the hands of students as received their awards. That would be wonderful, we would be honored. Students, when your name is called, you will please come up to receive your award. And we will first present the finalist category. Each finalist receives a medal. There are 53. We will take photos by grade level.
Okay, so for the kindergarten awards, we have Ellie Cox and Sir Goods. For first grade, Nayara Hassan and Miguel Magana Salinas. For second grade, Iris Jacobs, Mabel Tiger, Charlotte Trees. grade was our most well-represented submission grade, and so we, as a result, have as many. Apologies, third grade. Excuse me, third grade would be next after second grade. All right. Thank you. Okay, so for third grade, we have Luca Bufter, Marlo Eckstein, Angelina Garcia, Devin Lopez Soto, Carson Lynch, and Landon Patterson.
Don't go anywhere.
Okay, and so yeah, there are quite a few more fourth graders than the previous one, so bear with me here as I read through them. Congratulations in advance, fourth graders. Isabella Alfaro Reyes, Leo Batalu, Cadence Best, Solon Holland, Sophie Josviak, Wyatt Lawson, Catherine Livengood, Mia Martin, Jude Carroll Perry, Manfred Rodriguez Garcia, Presley Smith, Jeronia Tawadros, Aubrey Wells, Gracie Willard, and Kaylee Williams.
Down a little bit, so our people in the back can see. Big smile.
Still taking bigger smiles.
Cheeks hurting yet?
For our fifth grade, Emmy Allen, Lindley Bryant, Jael Joe, Olivia Kilby, co-authoring a book, Summer Fitzgerald and Narita Solano, Molly Manis, Julissa Monteagudo, Sofia Perez Morales, and Bella Spainauer.
One more, sorry.
Come on down, parents. You want to stay back there.
Sixth grade, Colton Jordan, Barbie Nolan, and Kayla Sutton. Holloway, and Sadie Strader. And for 8th grade, Trinity Crisco, Rebecca Clark, Matthew Farron, Elsie Jackson, Anna Jordan, Ella Rigo, Kaylin Torres, and Ashley Trombley.
Parents, you must be so proud of these young authors. I know that we are. So we would like to give you a round of applause for supporting these young authors because they would not be here tonight without you. Thank you, parents. I'm extremely excited to now transition over to our exemplary category. Each exemplary young author will receive a trophy. We are recognizing 15 of those young authors tonight. These announcements will be by grade level, and then we will take a whole group photo together. Okay, so we'll announce all 15, take a group photo. Okay, thank you.
From 1st grade with the book title, or story title I should say, The Magic Door, Nayara Hassan. In 2nd grade, with the book titles Robert's Treasure Quest and How the Pony Got the Gallon, Iris Jacobs and Charlotte Treese. In 3rd grade, the story title My Amazing Life, Carson Lynch. Fourth grade, the story title Relic and the Journey Back in Time, Wyatt Lawson. Our co-authored book for 5th grade, titled Blink, was authored by Summer Fitzgerald and Narita Solano. And apologies, I'm still in 5th grade. That's my mistake. The book title, The Smiling Woman, Molly Manis, and also What It Was Like on the Trail of Tears, Julissa Monteagudo. For 6th grade, an untitled work by Barbie Nolan, and The War to Kill All Wars, Caleb Sutton. Seventh grade, the book title When the Rain Falls, Ava Ince. In 8th grade, high school drama by Trinity Crisco, The Wilted Roses Collection by Elsie Jackson, and When Flowers Wilt by Ashley Trombley.
Let's see.
Oh, yes, it's photo time, parents.
Got him.
I'm going to ask our 8th graders to stand up with Dr. Miranda and Mr. Hand for another moment, please, but everyone else can have their seats. Are you our only 8th grader? I would like to get another quick photo with these students. These young authors are graduating out of the Young Author Program this year. It is only offered to kindergarten through 8th grade, and then we go on to our reading program, which is One Chatham Reads, and we have some exciting plans for that as they go into high school. But I wanted to recognize you both because you did amazing, amazing work, and I also would love to invite you to come back to our awards ceremony next year to speak as graduated young authors to our younger generations and inspire them. If you would like to. Okay, last but not least, it is time for our outstanding category. This award is named after our founder, Mary Lee Moore. She was going to join us tonight. She had a family emergency come up at the last minute, so she does send her condolences for not being able to make it. But she is extremely honored that we are recognizing her with this award, and we will continue to do so as a tradition for the Young Authors Program. 1 student per grade level receives this award, so we will give 9 awards, kindergarten through 8. They will line up and they will receive plaques, and we will take a group photo together. Without further ado, here are our representatives for each grade level for Chatham County Schools for Young Authors 2024.
For kindergarten, happy birthday, Baby Shark, Sir Goods.
Are you serious?
Baby shark, baby
Sir, what is that?
Okay.
Our first grade student, I just wanted to share a special note about this particular student. This student was the only student who submitted 2 stories, which was not the requirement at all. Took it upon himself to just say, you know, I'm gonna throw my name in the hat, 50% more than the rest of the county and try to see if I can win something. So I wanted to mention that he received his medal for his story, Animal Adventures of Koala, Monkey, and Dog. He is receiving the plaque and the recognition for first grade Chatham County-wide for his story, French Bulldog Gets Stuck on the Moon. This award goes to Miguel Madonna Salinas.
for second grade with the story title Animals on a Farm, Mabel Tiger. Third grade, The Night of the Menacing Mooncrawler, Landon Patterson. Fourth grade, The Girl in the Basement by Mia Martin. Fifth grade, A Fiery Star, Jael Jetta. Sixth grade, The Maze by Colton Jordan. Seventh grade, Battered and Banished by Colton Holloway. And eighth grade, The Darkness Within, Matthew Farron.
Everybody Big smile.
In case you're wondering what the sticky notes are on the back, it's just a little note to remind myself the student's name and grade level. For if they're absent, we're going to make sure that they receive their awards at school. So we recognize all of our top tier awards. You are the Mary Lee Moore Outstanding Authors of 2024. Congratulations. The last time you'll hear me speak this evening is to introduce you to our esteemed assistant superintendent, who has some lovely stories regarding her growing up as an author and then eventually becoming a very beloved educator. Without further ado, this is Dr. Amanda Moran. Good evening, everyone. It's never nice to be between people and food, so I will kind of take you through this journey a little quickly. But one of the things that I love most about the role that I get to play in the district is I get to help support our students' writing and reading journeys. And we love to make sure that we're giving our students these opportunities. We always start with why in our district, and the reason that we do this, an event like this, is because of each of you students. We want to make sure that we give you so many opportunities that you can shine and you can continue to grow your skills. So I'm going to share with you a couple of things that I've learned along the way about reading and writing and why it's important and how it has shaped me into who I am today. This is my Aunt Martha. She was a librarian for over 40 years. She also taught high school English. She was a lover of books, is a lover of books, and she's a lover of writing. She is 92 years young, and she
on the red carpet, and I believe Mr. Wright is going to be
I'm
hanging
gonna
out.
sit and sign,
He's
yeah.
going to sit and sign
doing it
books, so
books.
if you'd like to meet him and talk with him, please do that right up here. Thank you again for supporting your students and for being here tonight. Have a good evening.
Yeah.